the first season of the Sunday SITREP. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the 24th. I almost messed up and said the 23rd. Welcome to the 24th episode of the Sunday SITREP, the official podcast of the Armed Forces Fishing League. And Nick's not in here today. Unfortunately, he is out sick tonight. Him and the family dealing with some flu, so please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And hopefully he gets better soon. From what he's telling me, it's not the funnest time. Right now, he's going through it pretty hard for the last few days, and I was checked into the urgent care today. So please keep him in your thoughts, keep him in your prayers, and let's hope he gets better from that quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm sure we've all had the flu at some point in our lives, and it's definitely the absolute worst. And I know every time I've had it, it's really knocked me down on my knees. But I'm excited for tonight's episode. If you read the description before you logged in live, we're supposed to have Bobby Edwards and Gage Spagnola on. I don't know about Bobby yet. I know he had families getting Walker in the bath and everything, so he might be a little late if he makes it in tonight. But if not, I'm really excited for the show. Me and Gage are going to dive in pretty deep on some stuff, and it's going to be fun for sure. But let's go over some upcoming stuff. I'm not going to do results today. Me and Gage are going to dive into the South Carolina results. That was the only results we have to go over this week. So we're going to dive into that here in a little bit. But let's go over some upcoming events real quick before we get started. So next weekend, 15 March in North Carolina on Baden Lake. They're having their second event of the year. So make sure y'all are getting signed up and get registered. If you're in and around the North Carolina area, make sure y'all jump over to Baden Lake and hit up John and get moving in North Carolina. They're growing slowly, and we're excited to see it. I know North Carolina is eventually going to be a powerhouse. We just got to get the word out there and get the guys over there. The following weekend, 22 March, in Virginia, we have Lake Chesden up there. That's coming up, so mark y'all's calendars for the Virginia folks. And then 29 March in Louisiana, they got Toledo Bend. Looking forward to that slugfest. So make sure y'all hit up Zach up there and down there and go whack them on Toledo Bend. I'm curious about Chesden too. Dave talks that place up a lot. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'll dive into the April tournaments later in the month when we get there. But yeah, that's all I've got on upcoming events. William Barnes is already on it. If you guys are new, I know we don't have everybody in here yet, but if you're new or you're tuning in just now, make sure you go ahead and like, share, and comment hashtag #TheSitRep for a chance to win a t-shirt and some barbecue from our great sponsor, Southern Fusion Barbecue. That's really all I got. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube, we please request that you go over there and get subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's growing, but we need a little more. And then something I've noticed lately on our algorithm, if you guys are watching replays or whatever, and you're finding a hard time to watch, if you get over to Apple iTunes, if you have Apple, we do put it on there as well. It's just the Sunday SITREP. Search it just like you do anywhere else. And we have it on there if you'd rather listen to the replay in your truck, car, or whatever on drives and whatnot. But go ahead and get over there, hashtag #TheSitRep, and get in the chance. We've already got a handful of guys in here getting it done. Cool. That's all I got on that. And I don't have Nick to conversate with in the beginning of the show like normal. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring our guest, Mr. Gage Spagnola, Marine Corps veteran, in here today. What's going on, Gage?
Hey, how you doing, Austin?
I am good, brother. I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I love how my name just says Gage.
I know. I need to edit that. Let me see here. I didn't recognize that earlier while we're in here.
I'm a what is that? Simplicity is
yeah,
best.
exactly. And I'm gonna put in there in the bottom. What are you? After yesterday, you're a 2-time AFFL champion.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, no, 5, 6. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
17. We're just gonna Put it in there.
Why Anglers of the Year? And I'm just
Anglers of the Year, 17-time AFFL champion, 1-time AOY winner. Excuse me, TOY, Team of the Year. We're gonna make sure you're decorated here the way you deserve it.
winner.
Yeah.
Bobby's gonna give me some stuff for all that now. Look at it.
Oh yeah, exactly. We got to make it fun. We got to while we're here. I forgot that exclamation point there. But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna not dive into yesterday's results yet. I want to dive into the NPFL thing in Santee Cooper real quick, if we can. Do you know you had it up? Do you still have it up? Are they still weighing or are they finishing up?
I turned it off because I was kind of tired of trying to figure it out.
I understand. It is kind of a little confusing with the way they've got it going on there. It is kind of weird. But let me see if I can get the results up here. Is anybody, if y'all are watching right now, go ahead and let me know in the comments if you guys have been watching and keeping up with the NPFL and Santee this week. If you haven't, I can tell you it has been absolutely bananas weights wise. What's the biggest bag so far?
It might have just been Jason Christie weighed 32.5 today.
Yeah. Oh no, there was a 33 in there somewhere. I've got the results up here. So yeah, he just weighed 30. So a 3-day total. Jason Christie's in the lead right now. I don't know if these are official results. It's kind of confusing on their website, just being 100% honest, but 82.12 he's leading with.
Oh my gosh. The top 10 had like 8 9-pounders.
It's insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Patrick Walters had a 9. 8. There's just a bunch of 8s. Yeah, so twice this week, Jason Christie has weighed 2 30-pound bags. That's crazy. So twice. A 30-pound bag twice. He weighed 31.6 on the first day, and then he kind of weighed a 19 yesterday, which is still a crazy good bag. I mean, it's still a good bag. And then 32 pounds today. That's
Jordan Osborne weighed 33 pounds 1 ounce on day 1.
That's the 33-pounder. But somebody else, I think, had a 33. I'm looking for it now. I think there was 2 33-pound bags.
I'm trying to.
Maybe not. But the way it has them all at the bottom because of excuse me. I was thinking of Corey Casey was leading yesterday. He had a 30-pound. But he had a 27-pound bag day 1 and a 30-pound bag yesterday. And he hasn't weighed yet today. Corey Casey. And it's not showing him.
Patrick Walters or Hank Cherry had 26, 21.9, 23.10 and is in 4th place. And the weigh-in's not even done.
It's wild. I mean, it's just it's crazy. Just massive bags. Yeah. I was watching it live earlier today for a little bit. I didn't get to watch a whole lot today, but I watched it for a little bit, and Buddy Gross was struggling, is what I was watching, and Patrick Walters was kind of in a struggle bus, flipping docks and stuff. Couldn't tell where he was at. I was trying like hell to figure out where Patrick Walters was. It looked so familiar, but I could not pinpoint it when I was watching earlier. But it's just insane to me the amount of 30-pound bags. Once their results are finalized, I'll be able to go through and see exactly how many 30-pound bags there was. But there's at least 4 that I know of for a fact, which is absolutely insane. And it hasn't slowed down is the craziness. Like every week and every weekend since beginning of February, it's taken over 25 pounds to win anything down there.
I mean, that's South Carolina Lakes right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, next year it's going to take 12 pounds to win anything.
Well, yeah.
But dude, Hartwell's on fire up there right now with their large spots.
Right.
Monticello's doing really well. Murray is absolutely insane right now. 2-3 weeks ago, we had a 34-pound bag win, and 31 pounds got you second place. And if you had a 25, you were in eighth.
Right.
And Santee's just a whole nother beast.
Yeah. It's just dropping massive bags. Corey Casey just weighed in, I guess. It just refreshed and put him up to second. He weighed in 15.9. So he had 27 day 1, 30 day 2, and then 15.9 today, which is just still, I mean, I know that has to hurt his soul a little bit. Only getting 15 pounds a day after having almost 2 30-pound bags in a row.
Jason Christie just won.
Oh, they just finalized it.
I'm watching him win it right now.
Oh, it's going down.
Yep, he just won. He won with 82 pounds.
82 pounds, 12 ounces. So 2 30-pound bags. So let me look here real quick. So that's 1, 2, 3.
He said, I got trophies. I just want the money.
That's what he said?
No, it's just you can see it like kind of on his face. It's kind of funny.
Right.
Like you take the big old dude, their trophy's gigantic.
I know. They're doing it right, dude. They're doing it right.
Down, dude. I mean, that trophy cost $100,000 just to make it.
Right. Here's your top 10. Jason Christie, Corey Casey, Caleb Cuphall, Bill Lowen, Hank Cherry, Patrick Walters, Keith Bardoff, Greg Hackney, Buck Mallory, and Buddy Gross. So of your top 10, only 3 of them are not Elite Series anglers.
Dude.
Kind of wild.
Dude.
They got the money.
Own it, dude.
He is. He's having a good season. I love it. I like Bill Lowen a lot. He's a good dude. I'm really happy to see Hank Cherry up there in 5th as well. With a 26-pound bag, a 21-pound bag, and a 23-pound bag. Hank had a really good week, and I'm really excited for him. And I didn't realize. I don't know how long he's been sitting in here because I've been looking at results instead of the other page. He's making a weird face at me. I tried to catch him.
Ripping lips, Edwards.
Yeah. There we go. Mr. Bobby Edwards is right here. So how was Walker's bath? Went down good? Everything's good to go?
Oh man, I made it. It was hot lava. We were in the hot lava trying to save each other, and then the volcano erupted, meaning water went everywhere. And then the plug got pulled, and we were sinking down into the drain and helping each other pull each other out of the hole, and it was nuts. And then I got smashed in the face by a little car, and it was pretty epic.
Always fun. Always fun. Bad time with the kiddos is always a fun time.
It's like some magic school bus stuff. That's how I'm picturing it in my head.
Exactly. Yeah. Man. So I really don't know how long you've been sitting in here, Bobby, because I was on the other tab.
Like 5 minutes.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good.
I was on the other tab looking at the
my fault for being late.
Results. No, it's all good. It's all good. Family first, brother. Family first. But craziness on Santee Cooper. I know we all talked about it a little bit yesterday after the Derby. It's absolutely insane. But for all you guys that aren't South Carolina guys, that doesn't mean come beat our lake up even more. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Stay away, please. We can't even catch 30-pound bags. So, and we live here.
Speak for yourself, son. They don't call me Ripping Lips Edwards for nothing.
You call yourself Ripping Lip Edwards.
Not what we were doing yesterday. I mean, you were. I wasn't. But
I had a little thing. I had a little juice going there for about all of 15 minutes.
Right. Well, I mean, you hit we'll get into that in a minute. Let's stay on the MPFL train. That stay on track real quick, and we'll dive into that here in a little bit. But right here, this is what I wanted to dive into next. I'm going to read the official press.
Wait, is this the guy that got disqualified?
Right. So if you guys aren't tracking, the ones that are watching right now, there was a disqualification. He's a Santee local. Really good. I don't know him personally. I know I have a lot of mutual friends. Yeah. I've heard nothing but great things about this guy. I probably ran into him in a tournament at some point, sometime, but I don't really know him, but like I said, I've never heard a single bad word about this man. So I'm gonna read the official press press release real quick. That's what we're covering right now, Shane. We're about to dive into it right now. Let me get the tab pulled up. All right, so I'm going to kind of paraphrase, but Skeeter Crosby has been disqualified from day 3 of the Strike King MPFL Stop 1 at Santee Cooper Lakes following a violation of the league's no information rule. So the way they have it, they put the rule in here, which reads as such: the purchasing of, solicitation of, or bartering for information about locating or catching fish on tournament waters is not permitted. This includes receiving information from any person that is a non-contestant. Crosby entered the final day of the competition in 3rd place, about 4 pounds behind the leader and just 5 ounces behind Crosby's friend Buck Mallory. Shortly before noon, Crosby was fishing near a camera boat and asked the cameraman and or boat operator about Mallory. Is he catching them? He asked. The incident was captured on live stream coverage, brought to the attention of the MPFL tournament director. And the tournament director did say this specifically: I do not believe that Skeeter was trying to gain an advantage from the exchange, but soliciting information like that is a clear violation of our rules, and he's been disqualified from today's competition. His catches from the first 2 days are not impacted, and he remains eligible to earn prize money and Progressive Angler of the Year points for this event. And then they go on to talk about, it was an innocent mistake and all that. He's just asking his buddy and everything
He
like
was
that.
checking on his boy.
Read the ending for Skeeter's character, because the end part of that for Skeeter is actually really good. How Skeeter took it.
Oh, yeah. So the president of the MPFL specifically stated, we appreciate that Skeeter has handled this matter very professionally and explained the situation on our tournament coverage. And Skeeter said it was an innocent mistake. I was just checking on my buddy, making conversation. I was not trying to gain a competitive advantage, but I certainly agree that it was a violation of the rule, and I agree with the league's decision. And, commend him, obviously, for, owning the accountability, taking it on the chin. I know it would be hard for me in that situation to just take that one on the chin and say I respect their decision and I agree with the league's decision. I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but that would be tough for sure.
It would be very tough, but that speaks dividends about that man's character.
Agreed, 100%.
And if you how does I put it? So if you also think about it from a financial or a business perspective, right? So if he doesn't accept that and is not like, oh, you know what, I don't agree with this at all, and makes a big riff of it, his sponsorships, his standing with the MPFL, he doesn't have another way besides the Opens or the Toyota Series or something to make it to the top level and fish for $100,000 right now. And all his sponsorships are going to leave because they don't care, because everybody else is going to see them as a part of the guy that caused problems and wanted to have problems. Like, at the end of the day,
he doesn't want to put himself in the spotlight.
It's a business move. At the end of it has to be. You don't have a choice, because you feed your family or you don't feed your family. And that sponsorship money is what feeds them guys' families at times, because they may only get $10,000 of winnings all year, but their lodging, their fuel, or whatever comes from their sponsorships and that food. And if they lose those by them acting bad, then guess what? This is what happens.
Right.
Look at Matt Herron.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I still, it would be, in my flesh, would be very tough to be able to not raise some cane about. I was just asking my boy a question, like, about my boy, and you know what I mean? Like, it seems like such a simple question, and I think intent is a lot of it, right? I don't think, and the exact words he said, is he catching them? Right. And from what I understand, they were in 2 completely different areas of the lake. right? This is day 3. If he wanted to make a decision to run over there and try to catch this man's fish, he would have done it anyways, right? Regardless, he would have done it off the rip versus waiting to ask a cameraman that he does or does not know is going to show up, right? I don't see how that is trying to solicit, because it says about locating. Well, I guess the way you read it, the more I think about it.
But the way the director said, I don't believe that he was doing, he was cheating or he wasn't cheating. You can't say,
Right.
well, I don't believe he was, but the rule states this. Well, do you believe he broke the rule or do you not believe he broke the rule? You can't go against it and then be like, well, rules are rules. Well, yes, but you have to decide whether it's a rule or not. And if you believe that his character wasn't in trouble in that question, then why charge him with the rule?
Right.
Same
I
thing
agree
in the
with that.
military. You can't NJP me if my character was doing something. If you said, "Oh, well, I think he did that, but I know he didn't mean to do that." No, you have to have it evidence proof. He was going to do that, and then he was going to execute it.
Right. There's a lot to it. Right. And we kind of dove into what was that last week? We were diving into about the other 2 DQs.
Scott Martin and Matt Herring.
Scott Martin and Matt Herring, yeah.
How's the water?
Yeah.
What's that?
He said, "How's the waters look?" That's what
Right.
got him DQ'd from a tournament. And dude, that's quite insane when you think about how strict our rules are getting, because people are so afraid of what other people are doing to gain a competitive edge now.
Right. And I think that's a lot of it. Phillips, that's had a good point. Beyond reasonable doubt. That's the term we're looking for. There. But yeah, I think that it's like I don't remember who said it last week when we were sitting there talking about it, but it's all the questionable gray area stuff last year, all the rookies doing the weird stuff. It wasn't just rookies. There were veterans doing weird stuff too. It just wasn't getting talked about. But all those weird things, I think it's just like we talked about last week. They got to show, hey, it's like when a unit's messing up, the commander, the first sergeant, everybody has to put their foot down a little bit. And, a missed dental appointment now becomes, I don't know about for y'all, but in the Air Force, it becomes an LOR and you're getting screamed at by the commander for a missed appointment that the commander doesn't actually care about. You know what I mean? But
we don't have dentists in the Marine Corps.
You don't have what?
We don't go to the dentist in the Marine Corps. They just let them pull them out.
That's the crayons keep the wax, keep them protected.
They fold them up pretty well in there, dude. That's why I look like what's that guy, 6'9"?
Oh yeah. That's gracious. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading some comments here. I know y'all don't get to see them like I do, but I feel like it's a double-edged sword. Rules are rules, and on the other hand, the BPT guys get live updates. You can hear real-time updates, basically telling them who is catching them and who is not. Yeah, and I've heard, honestly, from listening to other podcasts and stuff, the BPT guys, some of them hate that. Yeah, they hate hearing, right? They hate hearing, oh, Jacob Wheeler's got another one. He's got another one, 2 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Dustin Connell's got 13 in a row or whatever, they get pretty fired up over that stuff. I know is, who is it? Matt Steffen talking about it on BTL a while back about how much he can't stand hearing that stuff. But
that's what got them guys in trouble with the at Lake Conroe a couple years ago with catching the bedding smallmouth over and over again. And that was like the huge cheating scandal that went on in MLF as it was like just starting up.
Right.
And those guys knew that other guys were on bedding fish and were watching them not move, but they were sitting there just plucking the same smallmouth as it came off the beds. But the other guys were watching the score tracker update. And they were like, and they caught like 100 pounds by catching like the same like 10 fish. They literally just, because they're that dumb when they're bedding.
Mm-hmm. Especially smallies, they're so aggressive on the bed. Is a craziness, but for sure. But speaking of smallies, we'll use that as a good transition point over to our results from yesterday. Y'all had some smallies yesterday. You want to go over the results or tell us about your day, or should I go over I'll go over the full results first. I'm not going to go line by line. I'll do the top three in the money.
17 pounds. He needs to start speaking now.
Do what?
I said Bobby cost 17 pounds.
Yeah, where's the? Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, first place yesterday for us in South Carolina, we have 14 boats on Lake Monticello. Despite a bunch of windy conditions, I had a couple boats reach out and tell me they weren't going to make it due to the weather and the fact that there were two other. Oh no! Don't let me forget to talk about the side pot.
Oh my
Bobby
God.
roping me into a bet, so I don't want to be involved in. Anyway, so
We had it, son. We had it.
Yeah.
They fell out the bag on the way
I mean, we started off like epic, and the fact that they were 100 yards off to our side, like, I
Yeah.
mean, I tried to maintain my composure as best as I could, but I'm telling you right now, inside, Bo, I was like a little kid. I had to get back up on the front of that trolling motor as fast as possible, so and turn my back to him, because I was like, oh man, we gonna wreck havoc today, son. And then well, I don't have a belt. Jay Johnson still has his belt. And I know we were supposed to wait to get into this, but we're already here now.
Well, yeah, we'll dive into that first. Yeah, we're here, so we'll dive into it.
So
Tell him the bet.
all right, so we got to fast forward all the way to everybody dumping their boats in. Mind you, there's like 70 boats being dumped into this 2 boat ramp pond. Okay, there's mud hole, and nobody know. Yeah, and I'm sitting there having a conversation with Josh Stamey. He's on his trolling motor. I'm on my trolling motor. We're just connecting, catching up, and next thing I know, I look up, and it looks like my twin brother's walking down the boat ramp.
With his
And I'm like,
on.
hey, I know that guy. And so I start talking smack to him. He's talking smack back. Someone said, I don't know who it was. I can't remember. I don't reflect who it was or anything like that. But someone said something to the effect of, don't make me get off my boat and come on that boat dock and Gerald swindle your butt. And dudes in the other tournaments were on their boats chirping, and so it started right there. And then he got on Josh's deck of Josh's boat, and we pushed out, and it was just the three of us off on the side. And we had a special moment there. But then, to stay on track, something got mixed up in there. And I'm pretty sure I'm the one that brought up side pot, one competitive edge and that kind of thing. And next thing I know, he's talking about, if I beat you, I get to shave your beard in front of everybody. And I'm like, bro, it just grew back. Like, I just got it back. And y'all have seen me without a beard. Like, I can't not have a beard. And then, then it was all right. Well, if I win, I get to shave your beard. And he's like, wait a minute, you know how I look without a beard. So it got to dinner, steak dinner, and he has a WWF old school championship belt, like the real deal Holyfield with a big bass on it. It's legit. And we started
had
talking
in the boat with him.
Yeah.
Jay, text me a picture. I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so then, the wheels started turning in Bobby's head. And I'm like, I started thinking back to Thursday when I was out there in 45-mile-an-hour winds and 30 degrees, smashing them on a red crankbait. And I was like, I got this in the bag, son. And my boy came out here by himself the day before on Friday and smashed them. for a few hours. So I was like, man, we got this in the bag. Josh is talking about he ain't ever been on this lake before, and he loves to bring up, I'm still the only one not fishing with electronics. And so that I'm just saying all that to build a story up. You know what I mean? Like, so it got built up it got pretty intense pretty quick. And in the heat of the moment, I may or may not have, put my foot in my mouth. I might have made a bet with these guys and said, "Hey, team side pot, losers get taken out to a steak dinner, and winner gets to hold that belt until the next tournament." And we just and the thought process was, oh, we can kick this off and have this going all year, like pass this belt around between the two teams and have this little inner competition thing going on. And yeah, well, we got back to weigh in, and them jokers come up there with 3 fish, and on the whiteboard
Tell Austin this at all yet. You haven't included that. Austin knows nothing about this side bet for the whole for your team.
Yeah, even I think even when we were in the cove first thing in the morning and I was boat flipping those 3.5 pounders in, he still had not known. I forgot to even tell him about it. He wasn't even tracking
till the weigh-in, and he's like, "What? Go ahead." Yeah.
So on the whiteboard, everyone walks up with their fish. You got a column that states how many fish each team weighs in, and so they have a 3 next to son. There it is.
There it is. That's the belt.
So yeah, so he won. And correct me if I'm wrong. He got that belt from Josh Stamey from Fishing for Heroes for having the Big Bass champ with a 10-pounder that he caught.
I want to say like a 10.71 or something like that.
Yeah, it's freaking stud.
Absolute giant, right?
So anyway, I'm egging it on the whole way in. I'm egging it on. He already seen us boat. He thought they were 5-pounders when we flipped those fish in the boat first thing in the morning. So he already knows that he lost. And there it is, 10-7.
Yep.
And so I write, before we even weigh in, I write 5 fish next to our name. You didn't even know that because you're behind me weighing fish on the scales and everything, and I'm writing everything on the board. So I went ahead and wrote 5 fish on there. Everybody knows that we weigh in last after everybody, right? And while I'm on that, if I can be transparent for a second, immediately I like weighing in last because it's always that I don't want to tell nobody we got them. The one time that we got them, which doesn't ever happen.
You guys won last year at Watery, and I was like, all right, who's last? And then you just come up with the sack and won it.
So that's part of it. It's like, I want to see if like I can bring in 25 pounds. And so when I went to the boat to put those fish in the boat, there was 2 guys in the other tournament by their boat right next to me. And they were watching how much water I was putting in that bag. I emptied that entire live well into that freaking weigh-in bag. And then they saw me put it on the hook. Well, I didn't think filling it completely up with water and how heavy it would be. I never thought, first off, I never had that heavy of a bag to begin with. So I didn't realize how much of a struggle it was going to be to get off that cleat that's on the side of the boat. Once you hook the handle on the cleat, bro, I was in a struggle bus. Water was going out the bag everywhere. Fish almost jumped out on the. So they watched me fill this weigh-in bag to the brim, emptied the entire live well. And then I could hear them chirping, and I knew they were watching me. And then I hopped up in the boat like I'm about to pull out 5 5-pounders and put them in the bag. And I put the 2 fish in there, and I look over at them, and I'm smiling from ear to ear, and they're like, "You did all that for 2 fish?" I'm like, "Shh." So I come walking up. I'm basically dragging the bag back up to the weigh-in, making everybody think we got 25 pounds. A couple people took notice of it. Eric Bove, Jeremiah Jensen, Carl Horn, Jim Worley, they all saw it. And Jay was paying attention too. But anyway, yeah, when I dumped that full bag of water out, those 2 little 30-pounders popped out of there. And everybody's like, he put 5 next to the name. He put 5. They don't have 5 fish. They only got 2. And anyway, we lost by less than a pound. But yeah, they won. And we got to take them out, and you're part of it because it was a team bet. whether you were there for it or not. So we
That's
owe those
BS.
boys a steak dinner. We owe them a steak dinner. So
What happened to consent?
I'm just saying.
You got to
Yeah,
pay because it was my gas money too.
yeah, like it was guilty by association, dude.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
rules
fair.
are rules are rules. We're talking about rules. Rules are rules, you know. So,
Right.
but I'm here to tell them every day that I have off from right now until April 5th. Guess where I'm going to be?
Monticello.
Minus no, not I will never fish that like a day again in my life.
Said a W is a W.
What do you say?
You said a W is a W.
Yeah, no kidding. So, April 5th, Jay Johnson, I almost said Jeremiah Jensen. I know I ain't gonna beat him, but Josh Stamey, get the belt shined up, son, because I'm going down there every day I'm off. And yeah, you'll be returning the favor, and I'll be taking that belt home with me on April 5th.
He's gonna cross
Calling
his
him
name
out.
out with the Sharpie and put Bobby Edwards, U.S. Army.
You gotta do an expo marker, and we'll just change it every month.
There we go.
What's
We
the
we should get,
belt?
dude, this is a great idea. We should get a freaking champion belt, and the winning team
Passes it.
gets to take it home and puts it on or hands it over, relinquishes it to the winning team at the next tournament.
Like a
That would be,
traveling
yeah,
belt.
that would
I
be
like that
sick, man.
idea for the national.
Mm.
You know
Yeah,
what I
but then
mean?
it's once a year.
I-
You can do it for the national. You can do it for the national, and they get to keep it the whole year, or they get to keep that belt, or each member gets their own belt for that year. That's what we should do for the national. But while
Yeah.
in season, we should have an in season belt, and then on the national, the team that goes to the national, that wins that wins what's it, the state national.
What do you mean the state national?
Oh yeah. So all the teams from all the
All
states
the
are there
states.
on
Right, right,
championship.
right.
Right. So the team, I don't know. Then I guess maybe the South Carolina's team with the best weight at the end of the national championship, whether they win the national or not. Well, then that kind of takes. I'm looking out for South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. We got a league. I mean, I'm worried about our boys having a belt. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I got
uh,
a little cool picture here. We can do something with a belt for the whole organization too. Maybe like each state's top team at national gets one or something crazy,
that's
right?
right.
And then they get to wear it or
But
something.
then are we handing out participation trophies at that point? If each top team is like, thanks for coming. Here's a
No, no,
here's a
no, no.
belt.
You're gonna have five teams from each state there. So the
Okay.
top weighing team from each state gets a
Okay.
belt. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying there?
Tracking. Yep.
Or I don't know, something
I
like
think
that.
the belt is a good side pot belt that you don't like. The belt idea is cool, but I think it's one of those ideas where like you don't try and make it. You just let it like if someone has a belt at a tournament and is like, "Hey, bro, I bet you anything I smack you today."
Yeah.
Hey, I bet that belt then.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
great.
doesn't
And
right.
if
It
you
doesn't
did
have to
a
be
belt, I would go on there with a Sharpie and cross his name out. And
son.
then for the next 3 years, there's going to be Sharpie marks all through it because
Son.
everybody else is going to be crossing out the U.S. Army, the Jay Johnson, the Bobby Edwards, and dude, and they're just going to go. And then what you're going to have is a bunch of handwritten names on a belt because people are sitting there at 4:30 in the morning watching people back boats off the ramp and laughing and having a good time as brotherhood does. And then on top of that, like you said, you were having a good time and doing all that while everybody else was complaining out in the water. You were over here laughing and making bets with a brother, and it speaks volumes on the other 3 trails that we had there that were just complaining the whole time. Meanwhile, we were laughing our butts off at everything, making bets on side pots and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were, and afterwards, after the event, after we weighed, the other 2 tournament trails had already weighed. They were like leaving when we were done, and they weighed in at half an hour after us. They started their weigh-ins. And they had more boats than us. We were all just sitting there hanging out, having fun at the end, watching dudes drop their boats off the trailer onto the ramp, and that was crazy. But
I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
I've
Like,
never seen it. I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
in. Like, I felt bad, but it's like that was so bad that you don't want to help. Like, because you're like, I don't want to be involved in the anger that's in between the guy on the boat and the guy in the truck.
Well, me and Bobby sat there while we're getting everything ready, while everybody's,
Bro,
this
they were there.
Dude was in business casual. He was buying that boat.
They were parked on the road. They were parked on the road in the way, and everybody had to go around them to back their trailers down to load boats and get boats from all the tournaments. And they were there, and the guy in the truck, that was his boat, and he was showing the other guy that was in business casual how to unhook it, how to do the straps, how to put the plug in, how to take the chalk box off of the steering, all of it, how to prep the boat to put it in. And they, for like 45 minutes, for over an hour, because we came in an hour early, and they were already there.
Yeah.
Well,
and then they backed down the ramp and bye.
Right before the water, that joker just had boop on the.
I was
right on the
two
ramp.
trucks behind them waiting to back in, and I was there waiting because I was like, "What's going on? Why is this taking so long?" And I look over, and there's literally a boat. The trailer's like this, and the truck's over here, and the boat's still attached to the trailer in the water.
Yeah.
So
it was craziness. And I was weighing fish at that point and not really paying attention, but from what I heard, they just manned it up there with the winch, just sent it. Just went
it was a
joker straight up.
16-foot tracker, so it's not like those boats aren't terribly heavy.
It's still a lot to winch up.
I can tell you this: a boat attached to the trailer does not float in the water, because that sucker, if it was any deeper right there, would have went down in it.
Right, for sure.
I'm just saying, if I was there to buy a boat and the dude I was buying the boat from ripped the boat off the trailer on the boat ramp and I don't know him, I'm walking back to my truck.
Nice knowing you, bud.
Yeah.
He just drives off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I ain't buying that joker. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Oh man, that sucks. I hope they get it figured out. I hope something happened, but I hope they, got good insurance or something. But whew, man, that was crazy. But we bloviated really hard there. We went really off topic.
Yeah.
but that was fun. But well, let's go over the results real quick. We stopped and got ahead of ourselves. But so first place, Jeremiah Jensen and Gage Spagnola, always, whipping our butts out of nowhere, coming in.
J Money and G Money.
Yep, that's how Bobby wrote their names on the whiteboard, is that before they ever even showed up to the ramp, knowing they were going to take our money. And then second place, we had a team come from all the way from Anderson, South Carolina. They've been fishing with the Georgia division. Absolute stud gentlemen, both Marine Corps veterans, seem like awesome guys. Hopefully they we'll see them back again. That was Mr. Shane Richardson and Steve Earwood. They had 1747, and that was good enough for $385. And then third place yesterday was Mr. Carl Horn and Bob Craney with 1635, and that was like 210. And I, honestly, I think Carl and Bob are going to be tough to compete with already. I know we still got a lot of fishing to do, but a first place and a third place back to back, pretty easy. I didn't look back. What did y'all finish in the first one, Gage? Do you remember?
Third.
Okay, so y'all just flip flopped. So y'all are going to be tight for points.
Me and Jay did the math, I think, or he did the math. I think he said we're 1 point behind them.
Right. So we're switching over from Fishing Chaos to Waybook, and I've got a Zoom meeting with the guy to finalize everything before I input all the tournament results, and I'll have the final results and the points totals and everything with the calculations tomorrow or Tuesday out on the Facebook and everything like that. But yeah, so between you guys and Carl Horn, y'all are coming out strong, back to back top threes for both of you.
Well, he lays undercover though, so he just comes in. He's like, "How's everybody doing?" Being really nice, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, let me just, go ahead, weigh them. All right, 29 pounds. All right, yeah, how's it all going? It's just so nonchalant, like you don't ever expect anything, and then it just like happens.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, but both of those gentlemen are very good anglers.
Absolutely.
True gentlemen.
Absolutely. And Mr. Horn, if you're watching, we love you so much. I know you hate it when I call you Mr. Horn, but it's respect. We love you. But yeah. So tell us a little bit about it, Gage. Tell us about the
Well, I'm no Horn. I'm very proud of my stuff. I know he is too. But no, I mean, we had a great time. Everybody it's funny, everybody kind of just let it rip, and we were watching everybody go, and our boat number came, and we just went and cut 100 yards back, and while everybody else took off, and we caught all of our fish right pretty close to takeoff. Well, a couple of, let's just say that, yeah, we caught majority of our fish pretty close to takeoff. And we were fishing around a lot of guys that were live scoping. We don't have live scope on Jeremiah's boat, so we don't use it. But what happened was it actually played really well to what our plan was and what everybody else's plan was. Everybody was live scoping, whether it was on a point or the bank or in the middle of creeks and they were just going down drainage ditches. Well, we literally would just be like, hey, can we cut on the inside of this point here and just fish this? Oh yeah, I'm not fishing it anyways. Well, we would start we caught like we caught like three 3-pounders off that first spot. And while the other guy was still trying to figure out how to catch him with the Alabama rig and a live scope behind us. And he's like looking at us, and then we cut back around and started fishing some more timber. And we were just cranking. Me and Jay were throwing the same exact crankbaits, shad wraps, number 7s. And me and him knew that from the game plan that we were just going to go in there with both of these on a spinning rod. And we were just going to cast these. And that's all we threw all day long was shad wrap number 7s on a spinning rod. And that's all we threw all day long. And I mean, I think we may have had close to 2 limits before we left our first couple spots. We had like 13, 14 pounds, I think it was. And then the problem was there were 75 boats on how many acres is that lake?
I don't even know. Small pond. I'll look it up.
It's not many. It's literally probably the size of Bear Creek, is what I'm in my mind, on Lake Murray. But there were 75 boats, and on that lake, there's not many secret sauce spots. You don't fish the middle. You fish points or you fish the pockets. Obviously, you can't. There's not a lot of people that fish the middle of that lake like they would on Murray or Hartwell or something like that. And it's predominantly, it has smallmouth in it. Like you can catch a 5-limit bag of smallmouth that are pretty good. I believe people catch like what, Austin, 24-pound bags of smallmouth there.
There's been a few the past 2 years. The smallmouth population has just been amazing.
We didn't catch any during practice, but we caught one that kind of helped propel us a little bit. But what happened was the waves started really rolling. Like I think there was close to like 3-footers down there where we saw you guys at, and we just stayed in it. We just stayed in that west wind on East Banks and on them eastern points, and we just stayed in it. And 5 foot of water is where we stayed at. We just fished 5 foot of water, and we picked up a 5-pounder and 1 point. But that 5-pounder, it took us 20 casts, direct casts. We just stayed there. He threw, I threw. He threw, I threw. And as soon as I got mine in, he was already throwing to the exact rock. And those fish were so tucked up in those big boulders there that unless you drag, like we were throwing at 3 foot, so that shad rat was just scraping the tops of those boulders, like it, and because they dive 6 to 10 feet, and by the time it just plummets off, that's when they would grab it. But you had to just make multiple repeated casts to it, and then that 5-pounder obviously propelled us and then we cut right around the one corner from where we saw you guys and caught that almost 4 pounds smallmouth. And then I believe we called no, we didn't call one more time after that. That was it. But we caught them pretty good all throughout the day. So we thought, what was it, Mr. Jack Coleman, right? Mm-hmm. We seen him a lot, and we were like, man, he has a stick. And me and Jeremiah were like, yo, he's got to have them. Like, so we were thinking it was going to take probably 21, 22 pounds to win. So we were like, we need another 5 or 4 or 5 because we figured everybody had them. Bobby, I seen him passing. I was like, dude, that dude's got him. He didn't even lift his head up to look at me. He just waved. And I said, he's in the zone. So I was like, all right. So we were like, well, we may be able to get third. And when we got back, I mean, we ended up winning it. But we were very surprised. We honestly thought that like everybody was just sticking them out there just because of the way the wind is. And we fish Murray a lot, and on Lake Murray, if it's windy, you get in the wind and you catch them. If it's 3-footers or 4-footers and you want to know who's going to win, it's the guy that's out there throwing crankbaits on points and 3-4-footers. The one thing we knew what the wind was going to do was going to stop everybody from catching fish on live scope where we were going to catch them at. So we knew that people's transducers wouldn't be in the water because of the way the waves were going, then we would be able to get up there and catch them on some of these points. So that played in our favor. If it would have been calmer, whoever was live scoping probably would have stomped us out. But just because our transducers would have been in the water, Right. But that's kind of the name of the game that we got to play now because we don't play by the forward-facing rules,
Right. Absolutely. Well, y'all whacked them pretty good. I mean, really, compared to the other 2 derbies, y'all would have, from what we understand, y'all would have won all 3.
Yeah, no, we should have triple dipped for sure. But I didn't know they were all clubs, and when it comes to that kind of stuff, you don't just like walk up to people, hey, I don't know you guys, but I'd love to get in your tournament, and then you know how it goes. I mean, but yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a blast. The morning of was fun, even though like it was kind of chaotic. The weigh-in. I fished it. I'm getting over the flu, so I was kind of rough yesterday, but dude, me and Jeremiah had such a fun time with everybody. Like and we were talking about that as we were catching fish. Like we don't ever like get upset. Like if we fish, like we get pretty competitive when we fish like BFLs or cats or other events because we're not going there for the brotherhood. We're not going there for the to talk to people or meet people. That's honest. Like I'm not going to a fishing tournament outside of the AFFL to say, hey, how are you doing? No, I'm going to beat your brakes off. Right. Because I want, if it's one time, I'm going for the money. If it's multiple times, I'm going for the trophy. But with the AFFL, you go because you want to see everybody's face in the morning and say, hey, how are you doing? What's good? And it's friendly competition. You can still be men and be competitive. But then at the end of it, you can just be joking around, laughing and smiling. And whether you win or not, it doesn't matter. I would have not acted any different today or yesterday if we would have won, or I didn't really care who came home with the money. That didn't matter to any of us, But it was good.
I like the fact that in other leagues or other tournaments, you don't have this right here. So like, for example, what I'm trying to get at is I've never thrown a shad wrap before. I've never thrown an SR7 before in a spinning rod. But now I can add that to my arsenal and know, hey, maybe I need to give this a shot. Maybe I need to go pick a couple up. You're not going to get this at any other tournament. You're not going to get us talking about it. And this is, Carl Horn shared how they cracked them on Murray.
The first derby, right.
And there's not an ounce of doubt. Yeah, there's
right.
not an ounce of doubt in me thinking, oh, they're lying or they're feeding us BS or whatever. Yeah. If Gage says it, if Jeremiah says it, it's the real deal. If Carl says it, if any one of us says it, then that's what's happening. So I touched on this last week. It's exciting for me to think about the future. It's exciting for me to be like, okay, well, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like we could all be better, a hell of a lot better anglers by sticking together and the brotherhood and fishing this out and seeing this, all the way to the end. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I want, dude, if we have 15 guys in our tournament, I want all 15 of us at 20 pounds.
No kidding, bro.
Dude, you know what's awesome? Our 15 in that tournament weighed in more bass than all 3 of those tournaments and 50 other anglers probably did.
Right.
Because, dude, we stomped them so well there on Monticello on that little lake with all those other guys running around. And I'm not saying like pound for pound, but our weights looked better than those 50 other anglers. And that's because of how close we are. That's because of the knowledge that we share together. And I don't want to go out and beat my brothers that don't know anything or what they're doing. I want to be able to give people the knowledge to get better. So it's a back and forth thing. I don't want you to take my belt and keep it for the whole time. Then what's the point of that? It's no fun.
Right.
I want to battle.
Right.
That's what we love to do.
Yeah, man. It's it's like the Stanley Cup. You know what I mean? Everyone knows that the NHL, professional ice hockey, is the best sport in the world. But the it's a 7-game series, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to win all of them. It's competition. But what you just said about sharing and seeing your boy, that's like what I want to see other guys win. I want to see everybody win. Everybody's winning in this league. That's what we did after the weigh-in, the conversations, the laugh, all of that. We're all winning. I made a post yesterday last night, and the title of the post was "Success is not making it to the top.
Right.
It's bringing others along with you."
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's pulling others up out of the ditch. That's success. And so that's what it's all about, man. And to finish this topic off, as far as, how we won and all y'all won and all that. I'm a firm believer, you cannot catch another man's fish. You could tell me, go buy this color shad wrap, put it on a spinning rod, and this is what we're doing. That does not mean I'm going to go do what they did. You can't catch another man's fish. You got to figure it out for yourself. But the knowledge is good to have,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, but it makes a difference on those practice days, right? So when you're out and being like, dude, like what? You know what? It is rough out here. It's wintertime. Let me throw a more subtle balsa-like bait and just see what happens. But once you get one bite on one of these baits that you heard your buddy talk about at the AFFL or whatever, you get a clue. You automatically, okay, cool. It's clicking. And then later on, when you go to more and more tournaments, all that does is increase the increase everybody's attributes, right? For fishing. So it's a win-win, right? So like nobody wants to go to the AFFL and be like, man, like everybody's super good. Like, no, I want to go there and be like, dude, everybody sticks here and they're really nice. And they talk to people and they love each other. Like, and I was thinking about last night as I was sitting there. It's like at the Guardian Classic, it's a very the camaraderie and the brotherhood is just thick, right? It is very there. Everywhere, everybody's sitting talking, and then you turn around, new people are sitting and talking. It's just like a revolving door on conversation everywhere. And the AFFL is creating that same atmosphere in small areas, one Saturday a month in every state. And that is huge. And that is what veterans need is to know not only are they going there to be like, yeah, I'm an 03 or I'm a 10 or whatever, hey, dude, like I'm a man, I'm a human being, and how are you? And that's what creates that brotherhood. And
you don't get that anywhere else. When I first moved here, Philip Stutz got me into tournament fishing, and he talked me in to paying those cat entry fees, those cat tournaments, Team Trail. I didn't know what the cat team trail was. I didn't know what kind of fishermen were in the cat team trail. I had just started tournament fishing, and me and him are in a Tracker Pro 175 with a tuned, supercharged 90 horsepower Mercury that he did a bunch of mechanic work to and turned it into like a 175. and y'all think I drive crazy.
Dude,
So we would go to these tournaments and nobody talks to anybody.
Yeah.
It's polarized glasses on, baseball cap, big old fat lip in, and everyone's staring everybody down. And I'm new in the area. I'm excited about tournament fishing because I just got into tournament fishing, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm Bobby. I just moved here. How's it going? How'd you catch him today, dude? That's the biggest bag I've ever seen in my life. That's a giant fish." And they're looking at me
No.
like, get the heck away from me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
who are you, cuz? So it took 2 years of that, of getting gut punched and that, and I finally was like, bro, I'm not messing around with them boys no more. Not to mention them dudes can catch them, like catch them, like.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I
That's
stopped giving those boys my money. It
That's
just wasn't.
why he taught me
And
to
everyone's like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm not talking crap about the cats.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's a different atmosphere.
Right.
I
And
mean,
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, they're not there to build brotherhood. They're not veterans, or they are. Some of them are veterans, some of them are not. But you will never know. People are there to win money, and you can win 3-4 grand there. Some of them guys win so many of them tournaments. They fish them the spring ones just to fish the spring ones. They win 15,000, and then they're done. It's like they go to the poker table, sit down, they leave, and you won't see them until January, February, March, and that's it. And I mean, that's the game. I mean, they're there to play it. But the AFFL brings a lot to the table, and then you could also win something.
When you don't catch any fish, when you don't weigh in a bag, when you've had a bad day on the water, the weigh in and the brotherhood and the camaraderie, whatever that word is, and all of that fixes it. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
You never know what somebody else is going through.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible talks about how in times of trials and tribulations, we need to grow closer together, lean on your brother, have your brother's back, all of these things. What's fascinating is that that's one of the hardest things to do as a man. One of the hardest things to do is for me to pick up the phone and call Gage, Austin, whoever it may be, Pastor X, Pastor Winston, whoever, and be like, "Hey, I'm struggling," and open up and talk about X, Y, and Z. But then on the back end, right? This happens every single time. I got a brother of mine right now, vivid, like a very specific person I've got in mind right now, who, going through X, Y, and Z, alpha male. I'm going to handle it on my own. I'm not, I got this. I can handle this. I got this. I don't need no help. I got this. And then after about 12 months of it, well, actually a year and a half, finally cracks and opens up. And to the group that he opened up to, come to find out there was one or two other guys going through the exact same thing. So what I'm trying to say is, even though it's the hardest thing to do, that's what that's why do you think the word of God tells us to do that? To lean not on your own understanding, but on mine. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things, other things shall come afterwards. Lean on your brothers. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I just share that tidbit. I've got like 25 minutes before we put Little Ranger to rack. So I'm gonna pop smoke. I encourage anybody listening on tonight or that watches this in the future, don't be intimidated about the tournament scene. Don't be intimidated about whether you can catch them or not catch them. Don't be intimidated about or let the enemy lie to you and say, well, you were just this in the military, or you didn't accomplish that, or you didn't retire, or any of those lies from the enemy, and cause you not to come out and shake our hands and introduce yourself and be a part of this. We're growing, and we're growing tight and close together. And I'm excited, and I love each and every one of you guys. If you ever need anything, you know how to reach out to me. If you don't, For His Glory Outdoors on Facebook, Instagram. You got Austin, you got Gage. Reach out to us. Let us know how we can help you out, man. Whether it's just let's go get let's go to Texas Roadhouse. I can eat 10 baskets of those rolls.
I've seen it.
Yep. I
Yeah.
can eat 10 baskets of the rolls. So let's go
I,
get
I
some
can eat a whole
rolls.
tub of the butter. Just give me the
Let's
butter.
go get some rolls, and we don't even have to talk about nothing. We could just, you know what I mean? Turkey season's right around the corner. Y'all know where I'm going to be on every day that I have off, which isn't very often anymore right now. But I'm headed down to Santee Cooper from now until April 5th. Anybody that wants to hop in the truck and hop in the boat with me, I don't care where you live, where you're from. Let's go do it, man. Love you guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Love
Peace.
you, bro.
See you, brother. So I don't know who he was talking about right there, and I wasn't going to dive into this too deep. And I know we're kind of at that hour mark, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit tonight. And I'm not going to go into any fine details or anything crazy. But in 2021, Nick hit me up. Might have been, 2021. At the end of 2021, we had fished the military ABA together, and me, him, and Ben met up at Santee Cooper here for the military ABA. Both fishing, out of aluminum boats. We pulled up next to each other, started talking about aluminum boats. Fast forward to later that year, I'm deployed in Jordan, and we link up, and he hits me up about this organization and asked me if I want to be involved. And when he did, I was like, yeah, dude, let's dive in, let's figure it out. Let's start moving on this thing. And at the same time, I had already had some thoughts about another organ, like doing some things similar and all of that. So it was just perfect how it meshed. That's when I met Bobby making posts about all this stuff and trying to just get some traction going in South Carolina while I was gone, because we were going to start tournaments in 2022 was when we were going to start. So that year of 2021, this was excuse me, I have this messed up. We started talking in 2021 at the end of the year. 2022, we used that year to build the organization and do all of that, and then we started tournaments in 23. So I met Bobby in 2022. We started talking. He had his first Guardian Classic that year. Or maybe that was 23. I'm all discombobulated here getting down in this story. But anyways, bottom line, into the story. We started all this, right? And the whole focus was going to be the brotherhood. That's what we wanted to talk about. That's what we wanted to focus it on, was the brotherhood, making it different than the rest of the tournaments around here, and to give our military and first responder status is just the glue that brings us together. Along with you've got the military first responder status, and you've got the fishing status, and that's what brings us together and forms the brotherhood, right? Your passion of your hobby and what you've done for our country, boom, brings us together and forms the brotherhood. That's what we wanted. I never would have expected the brotherhood to affect me the way it did yesterday. And I'm not going to get into any fine details by any means. I did a little bit with the South Carolina guys yesterday just to show my true appreciation for them. And I don't want to air it out online. But over the last 6 months, the week before the national championship in Chickamauga, I got hit with some devastating news. And the last 6 months have been the hardest 6 months of my entire life. Deployments, time away from family, all those things. It's been a really incredibly difficult time for me. And I've put on a big face, a big smile, and I've done a lot of things to cover it up with a lot of people, and some people know and some people don't, and it is what it is. But I was exactly what Bobby was saying. I'm the guy. I'm the dude. I can do it on my own. I'm an alpha male. Nobody's going to get in my way. I'm going to do these things. I'm not going to talk to people. And I did talk to some people here and there. And anyways, I got into some really, really, really dark places here and there. And this past week, I have been struggling pretty difficult with some stuff in my head, and I was in a really, really dark place a couple of times this week, to include yesterday on the water. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, but we had about an hour to fish because we come out an hour early. Me and Bobby are sitting there eating PB&Js. I hadn't caught a fish all day. I was spun out a little bit here and there, but he was like, man, I know we're not doing good, but we're having a good day. And I finally opened up about some stuff I hadn't opened up to in a while. And he knew a lot of what was going on, but I opened up about some stuff that I've been keeping in the closet. And one of the biggest things that has bothered me for a long time is I have an amazing family. I have amazing friends. I have amazing brothers. I have great coworkers. I have amazing people all around me. Yet at the same time, I get into this dark hole where I feel so alone, regardless of the people around me. And I struggled with that really bad here and there with a lot of the things I've been dealing with over the last 6 months. And then me and Bobby had a really heart-to-heart conversation, and I prayed really hard and in my head. Well, Bobby prayed with me, and then prayed really hard through the rest of the day. And then we're wrapping up the tournament and finishing everything up, and I'm getting into a better headspace after wrapping everything up and everything. And then I told everybody, have a good week, whatever. We'll see you April 5th, next event, whatever. I think everything's over. And then all of a sudden they're like, hold on. We got one more thing. And Bobby had mentioned that my birthday's coming up this week on Wednesday, and that the guys in the organization had gone together and got a bunch of stuff to give me for my birthday. And birthdays have never been a big deal to me. When I'm feeling the most alone in my life I've ever felt in my life, the brotherhood that we have worked so hard, me, you, Nick, all of us together have worked so hard, has impacted me yesterday in a way that I would have never expected. Just by something as simple as Mr. Carl Horn wrapping a giant glide bait up in his old BDU top and coaching me on what BDUs and U.S. Army is, and paracord, and Jeremiah, your partner, giving me the juice box. The camera's backwards. Sorry. With some crankbaits in there, and that day that I finally broke down and opened up about how alone I had been feeling, and my brothers came around and surrounded me and showered me with gifts, having no idea what was going on in my life, struck me harder than anything I've ever experienced in a long, long time. And thank you to all of you. I don't care about my birthday, and I don't want people to take this as a sob story or anything like that. I want everybody listening right now to know that that's what we're here for. And I would have never expected to be the one needing it. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to be the one providing it and helping provide that. And it means so much more now after yesterday to me. Even though it's been pretty much my life the last 3 years other than work and my family. But you guys talk to somebody. Don't let yourself get into a dark place. Don't let yourself ball up. Don't let yourself get into the weird places. Regardless of what you got going on, exactly like Bobby said, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18 other people that have been through what you're going through. And granted, the fine details of your situation might be a little different than somebody else's, but overall impact, the overall everything is the same. And that's what we're here for. Start the conversation how you want to start it. At the end of the day, when you're sitting there questioning yourself, should I bring this up to my buddy? Should I bring this up to my boy? Should I talk to Gage about this scenario that I've got going on in my head right now? Should I tell him this plan I'm thinking about? Right? Should I? Yes, do it. It's like a Band-Aid. Rip it off. Just rip it off real quick. 3, 2, 1, go. Say it. Do it. Tell them. Bring it up. make that phone call. And on the flip side of that, call your friends, call your brothers, call your people, check up on them. Bobby, Gage, Jared Branch, Lonnie Drush. Goodness, I can't name all of you. Carl Horn, Tom Fulmer, all you guys around here that have been checking up, and my family. I don't know if any of my family's watching. They like to watch too. All you guys, I've had so many people calling and checking in on me throughout the last 6 months or whatever. And it's done a lot for me, and I appreciate every single one of you. And make sure y'all are doing the same for your brothers, for your sisters, for your loved ones, because you never know what they're going through, what they're hiding, what they got in their closet, and what they're hiding. And that's what we're all here for. But on that note, I usually send the people up that don't stay for the devotional before the give or after the giveaway. But on that note, I don't care. I'm not hiding anything. The thing I wanted to talk about in our devotional that we normally do, and then I'll do the giveaway afterwards. If you haven't jumped in, make sure y'all hashtag the SITREP, and I'll put it up here just so you can see it real quick. Spell it just like that. No spaces, no weird stuff in the comments to get into the giveaway real quick. And we'll get moving on that as soon as I'll share the screen, and we'll do the giveaway after we go over this. It's Mark 9:23, and this is Jesus is casting out a demon that they thought couldn't be casted out, and the Father asks Jesus, if you can, if you can cast him out, and Jesus replies right there, "What do you mean if I can?" Jesus asks, "Anything is possible if a person believes." And I know that's just a simple and whatnot, but that's something that always comes to my mind, and I keep kind of tucked in my heart there. If a person believes, right? Jesus, and you can get into in Luke, and it says God's word will not fail or will never fail. If you believe, something will happen to change your mind. Yesterday, before that conversation with me and Bobby, I was in major disbelief that anything in my situation was going to ever get better, blah, 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 blah. And I was down a rabbit hole, down in this dark spot, trying so hard to cover it up. And I didn't, even though I have talked to people and told guys going through the same situation I'm going through, all these things to do, I wasn't doing it myself. I was putting myself in a corner. And without that conversation yesterday, I began to believe. And then as soon as I began to believe, I show up to the weigh-in. We go through a successful weigh-in, and then these dudes rock my world with these gifts. And it's simple gifts. It's just the simple act of love that they shared with me in that moment that knocked me off my feet. And that's what this brotherhood's all about. That's what I'm trying to get at the bottom. That's what the brotherhood's all about. Just get in that good book and believe, and things will happen. But yeah, that's really all I got on that. Sorry, I kind of wasn't planning on diving all the way down into that rabbit hole like I did, but yeah, you got anything else, Gage, before we do the giveaway? I'm just gonna keep you to the end.
No, you're
I got
good,
you
dude.
this far.
I like to say, well, three things, right? So the first thing is Jesus, says that all you need is faith of a mustard seed. If you guys know how small a mustard seed is, it's pretty small. So, and he can change some pretty drastic things quick. I mean, you got to think last year in January, before I met Bobby, obviously I've already told my story about me planning my suicide, and over a month, I believe, February, a month and a half, of just being at the AFFL tournaments, that changed my entire perspective to be able to postpone what I was wanting to do to receive help from a brother that directed me through Jesus Christ. So at the end of the day, a man cannot merely change a man is not going to merely change your decision, but God will if you let him, right?
Mhm.
Bobby was able to facilitate me and my wounds so I can stand in front of Jesus Christ and pronounce his name as Savior, of all of our sins. So I think that's a very good word. And the other thing that I had was I was speaking to Nick about this the other day, and we talk about brotherhood that us veterans portray and all that stuff. Well, what's the other person? There's one other person in our boat as well that may not know what camaraderie is or what brotherhood is or what it feels like to be in the military, because we allow a civilian to fish with us. But do you understand what the AFFL does? Not only does it help bring camaraderie and brotherhood to veterans and bring veterans together, it helps civilians understand veterans. It helps civilians figure out what brotherhood is and what camaraderie is. You're actually building and instilling new foundations in civilians without them even realizing it, because they feel a belonging to something that they never had before, like we did with the military. So, veterans, when you're in the boat with your civilian partners and stuff, don't be afraid to speak to them about what brotherhood and camaraderie means to you, because you're building a foundation to them as well that they don't know what it is like to be in the military. They don't know what it's like to have someone at their six watching their life, making sure that their kids will see them again, and a lot of us veterans had that. And now we seek that again because either our brothers and sisters aren't there anymore because of stuff related to overseas or back here. But I think it's very impactful to educate the people that are part of our foundation that aren't veterans, so they can, one, understand us better, but two, so we can help bring them under our blanket of that warm feeling of camaraderie and brotherhood that we know and love. And the third thing, to just top what I just said off, I sat there and talked about shad wraps and all this stuff that we won that tournament on. But Jeremiah had a very special friend of his, and he was a Santee Cooper like legend, pretty much. This guy was the guy, and he was a Marine. He still is. He's just not here on Earth, right? He was an older gentleman, and he passed away a few years ago. But he was a very, very good man from the stories that Jeremiah tells me. And the bait that Jeremiah was throwing was an old school shad wrap, before they called them shad wraps, that he gave him. So after he won that event, this event was so important to Jeremiah, and that bait was so important to Jeremiah of his friend that was a veteran, that Jeremiah went and retired that bait instead of putting new hooks on it again and being like, you know what, I'm just going to throw this again and win. I can win with this bait, so why not keep throwing it? No, he retired it because he had, one, respect for his friend, but he had so much respect for what he's learned in the brotherhood and all that stuff with the AFFL. He knew if he won with that bait in an AFFL tournament, that was the big event that he needed to retire his bait from his friend that passed away, that was a veteran. So how cool is that? It's awesome. And Jeremiah's not a veteran, but he respects us and loves us so much that that's what he did, so like, that's just an amazing story in my opinion.
Absolutely. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And Jeremiah's a great dude, for sure. And it definitely seems like he's understanding our camaraderie, and he plays in with us and digs in with us. I love it.
Well, he's had 7 years of being on a boat with me, so he kind of got that hammerhead running around. So
I hear you. Well, y'all, we are starting to get pretty deep into it. Shane, I see your comment. I'm not going to put it up here on the screen just because it's so big, but I'm going to talk to Nick. We're going to reach out to you. I like that idea as well. But let me get the screen shared here for the giveaway. And I think I've got it. Yep, I got it up there. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick and get y'all out of here for the night. We're running a little long.
It's going to be Jay Johnson watch.
Better be.
Oh,
Chris Warren
I feel like he
down
won.
in Louisiana. He won back in January, according to my list here.
Bro, it's March.
Yeah, well, we did the thing to where they can win once a month.
Oh no, good for him, dude. That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah, doubling up on the barbecue. Congrats, Chris. I don't believe I have your email, or I don't believe I've shipped out your January yet because I'm still waiting on your address. If you sent it to Nick, send it to me. Nick's down and out, and I don't want to have to request it from him, and I'll get both your bottles or both your shipments shipped out there. But yeah, that's really all I got for this week. I will probably not be on next week. I don't know if Nick is planning on doing a show next week, but I will be the following. So not the, what is that, the 16th, but the 23rd, I'll be back. So yeah, that's all I got. You got anything, Gage, before I shut her down for the night?
no, dude. Thanks for having me, dude. It's been fun.
Thanks for coming on, man. It's been a great conversation. And I love having you on the show. And for all you guys out there watching from the other states, this is something I'd like to start doing a little more, is having, some personalities from each state on, and not just South Carolina. We've had a lot of South Carolina guys on here, but I want to start getting some, this is not just, because I'm the South Carolina director thing. I want to get to know everybody across the AFFL. So if we're getting some winners on from each state or something like that, getting their directors on, we're going to start fielding that and seeing what that looks like for sure. But I like the talking the fishing. I like talking the brotherhood. I like talking about all those things because that's what we're all about. So y'all have a good week. Be blessed. Have fun. Be smart. Be out there. Have your wingman or your battle buddy or whatever y'all call them in the Marine Corps. What do y'all call them? Is it battle buddy in the Marine Corps too?
We don't have terms for them.
Oh, you don't. You're just
Call them
Marine,
Marines.
always Marine.
Yeah,
Hey, Marine.
I'm
Have your
so-
Marines.
If you said I'm your battle buddy, bro, I probably would. No.
Okay, Roger. Well, your friends, check in on them and have a good week. And we love all of you. And we'll see y'all next week. Remember, it's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood. See ya.